Everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to the Slowest WAAAGH, where we are playing Tzeentch. It's turn 68. As you can see, a lot of teleportation. It's time to see if we were able to make a difference. If we can keep this game from ending, or if we fail, can Khorne keep this game from ending? We got a whole bunch of shit going on up here. It all doesn't. It's just movement. There's a couple of other things going on. We've got a dark knowledge in here. Whatever. Stygian paths might be important. 66 units were lost during the journey through the realm of death. So, that guy was leading probably like 200 or so units. So 66 is a pretty large margin, but it is what it is. This is what matters, right? This is what matters. Gentle Plains being the actual fight itself, Royal Forest, Batagne, and Squirrel Point being around, and this is our Stellar Strike, and this is what I learned, which there's just some things in this game that you're not gonna know until you fuck them up yourself. That just is the way that it is. I don't know why remote attacks. It always feels so weird to me. I feel like there's a massive army on top of this siege. You remote attack it. I didn't hit that massive army. I hit the defenders in the siege. So here's Khorne's army inside of Gentle Plains. Not a lot, but still something, right? There's stuff in here. There's a couple of Daemon Princes. There's a fair number of his chosen warriors. He's got his god here, Kiss the Golden Idol, who is pretty powerful. Got a bunch of demons. He's got some of the demonic locusts, which are kind of weird. Bunch of serpent fiends. So there's a smattering of stuff in here, and we're about to Stellar Strike it. So let's see what happens. Oh God, no! Oh, 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 fuck. Let's watch that again. That's enjoyable to watch. It's not good. It's not good for us. It's not what we intended. Oh, goodness. Actually, probably didn't take out that many important units. Yeah, no, we're fine. Took out two ghoul leaders, 2 devils, 66 ghouls, 2 serpent fiends, and 9 wolves. So really didn't get a lot of important things, but we didn't want to take out any Khorne things. And today we learned if you Stellar Strike a fortification that is under siege, you don't Stellar Strike the sieging army, you Stellar Strike the fortification. Whoops. Sorry, Khorne. My bad. Okay, we're gonna go through each of the 3 surrounding provinces, see how we did, and then we will check Gentle Plains. Royal Forest. We've got our 2 Daemon Princes here. We've got Cookies and False God. They are up against basically nothing. This should be an easy win. Got that body ethereal. Displaced body. Astral shield. Phoenix Pyre. Okay, so all of them are doing the same script. So it's good for us to take a look and see what's up, right? And we can see their fatigue's at 83. That's not good. Right? Probably casting a bit too much. I think Body Ethereal, Displaced Body, and Astral Shield probably would have been worth it. That would have been fine, would have been enough. The Phoenix Pyre on top is unlikely to make the difference, but maybe. And in this particular case, it's irrelevant. But if we run into actual resistance, having such high fatigue could do bad. So we do in there. In Botane, similar situation. We have Zan 2. We have Chazzy. They're up against a little bit more, but probably not enough to matter. Oh, they are separated. But again, probably irrelevant. Oh, I say irrelevant. There are some Rune Guard here, and that separation might have made the difference. But the Rune Guard do eventually break. Or do they? Is that what's actually going to happen? Yes, that is actually what's going to happen. There were some Rune Guard there. It did get a little close. That is actually what happened. Oops. A little scary. And then in Scraw Point, let's see how we do. We've got Sombre 2 and Stony. They are up against... Ooh. Okay, so this could be an actual issue. The Rangers do hit quite hard, and more importantly, there are Valkyries here that have the Demon Bane effect. So, let's see what these two are rocking with. Sombre 2, Ring of Regeneration, Anti-Magic, Eye Shield, maybe that'll matter. No Ring of Regeneration on Stony, but does have built-in luck. So let's see. Body Ethereal, Displaced Body, Astral Shield, Phoenix Pyre. Okay. We're going up. We go down, and not the greatest landing. We are very separated. But we are attacking some important leadership with Sombre, while Stony is about to get wrecked, probably. Did that actually work? Did we actually route them? Pop them? Oh, shit. Let's see if that was a bug. It was also successful. We did pop that Priestess of Valaya. We did route them. We killed 22 Rangers and 7 Valkyries. Hell yes! The goal of cutting off all the retreat paths seems to have worked. Now did we actually get a battle in Gentle Plains? And how funny would it be if he no, he wouldn't have been able to get it. But how funny would it have been if he somehow got away? Gentle Plains, let's do it. Get out your popcorn. This is a big one. We've got a pretty large force here. Some mechanical men, a bunch of random shit kind of mixed into this front line of primarily pink horrors and blue horrors. Some Summer Lions, or Summer Lions? Summer Lions? Yeah, Summer Lions in there. Some Flamers. We've got a big mass of Marauder Horse Archers. More Flamers, more other shit kind of stuck in there. Some Chosen Warriors, blah, 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 blah. There's our Vampire. He made it in. Yay. We got a big block of Chosen Knights, a bunch of Mages nestled in there. We got a big line of primarily Chaos Warriors. We got a decent-sized block of Screamers. Another big line of primarily Chaos Warriors, but also Ogres and other random shit. And then we got quite a few mages just mixed around. And we're up against the scary fucking Dwarf Army. Massive amount of Rune Guard across the front. Bunch of crossbows. Some Iron Drakes. Bunch of Valkyries. And a terrifying centerpiece of mages. And this really makes me wish I had, instead of doing like Phoenix Pyre, I wish I had just done like a communion and tried to gifts from heaven his ass. Because if we got lucky, like that would have fucked. Immediate storm because of our storm staff. And we are going to just play this out and try to see what's going on. We're probably gonna watch this like 3 or 4 times. Let's see what happens. So we know we did not get the earthquake. Fucking darkness, I swear. We fucking darkness, I swear. We know we did not get the earthquake defended against because we fucked up with bringing village in. So we did not get our featherweight army up. And as you can see, it didn't affect any of our mages, right? Because all of the mages that it would have affected all have Rings of Levitation. It honestly didn't do a crazy amount of damage across the board, but it did do 2 notable things. First, it did kill most of our remaining blood slaves, and it did weaken or kill a lot of the blue horrors. Most of the pink horrors were generally fine, but if can we just sort by... Yeah, so you can see lot of dead blood slaves, a fair amount of dead blue horrors, but most everything else unaffected, right? And of course, on his side, everything is unaffected because he got his own thing off. We lost a flamer. That wouldn't have been to the earthquake, though. That would have been to, like, crossbows or something. None of the Marauder Horse Archers, surprisingly, right? I guess 16 armor is pretty good. 1 Mechanical Militia, and as you can see, Pink Horrors also survived, right? So it definitely did some damage, and it did kill some of the Blue Horrors, but all it basically did was kill some Blue Horrors, weaken some Pink Horrors. If we even look at the Marauder Horse Masters, for example, they didn't really take much of any damage from the earthquake. They probably, most of what they're taking is from arrow fire here. Chosen, nothing happened to them. A few like little tinks here or there on the Chaos Warriors, you know. Some damage on the Kidnids in the back, generally. But for the most part, even though we failed to bring in the instant cast featherweight, it doesn't look like it mattered that much. But other things are probably going to matter. At this point, Storm was autocast. He has Relief up. We have put both Wailing Winds and Blood Rain up, and he has put Darkness up. So we're going to have to sit a little closer so we can see the actual fight, because fuck Darkness. We got a bunch of Pillars of Fire coming down. Fires starting all over the place. Our Screamers drop in the back, and the Chosen start to hit the front or the top flank of the Rune Guard. Let's check another couple things. There is a Grip of Winter up by us. There is a Howl on his side. There is a Divine Channeling on his side. And there's a Mists of Deception on our side. Now, we don't expect the Screamers to actually do much work. We expect them to just try to distract people, basically. Little pockets of Rune Guard all over the place. Some of the Chosen Knights have filtered into the center. And these Rune Guard just holding the line against the Chosen Knights. Woo! Dropped a meteor there. Rune Guard are just amazing. We have our own relief. It's pretty late in the script. Probably should have been earlier. Backfield is pretty much done. No more screamers. Darkness comes back up. Darkness actually had a really big impact on this fight, because the dwarves, I believe, have perfect dark vision. Yeah, dark vision 100. So that was a pretty huge malice against us. God. Pretty bad. Big mass. Big hit from Thorgrim. Failing Winds is gone. Last of our chosen knights trying to valiantly fight in the center, surrounded by Valkyries and just a massive depression in the earth. Blood Rain gone. The Marauders. Fuck. Thorgrim, way in the back, just kicking ass and taking names. Oh, God. This pretty epic battle. And there's a lot of little things that come into play here. We definitely fucked up in not having village here. But I think at the end of the day, it would not have mattered. Even if we've gotten the instant featherweight out, as we kind of like checked, I don't think it really mattered on what we lost or the amount of damage that we took. I don't think 30 more blue horrors would have turned the tide for us, nor were we doing such crazy blood magic or anything like that, that I think that would have been the ultimate deciding factor. Fog Warriors would have made more of a difference, but there's so much damage, magic damage, coming out of these Rune Guard, and the Rune Guard truly were like the big portion of this fight. That I don't think Fog Warriors, obviously Fog Warriors would have helped deflect some of the damage, but it wouldn't have mattered in the long term. This fight, combat round 64. This fight lasted a very long time, and I thought we would do okay against the dwarves, but I didn't think we would win just in an out and out fight. I was really hoping that Blood Rain and Wailing Winds would take effect to rout far more of them. Now, it did rout a lot of them, but did it rout enough of them? And I doubt that the answer is yes. So let's take a look at Scrawl Point. Our forces were beaten, or Gentle Plains, our forces were beaten by the forces of Karaz-a-Karak. 737 units go in, 579 units do not make it out. We lose one of our Sky Metal Adepts, one Sorcerer, lose our Vampire Lord. The remainder of our mages actually make it off the field, but it's irrelevant, right? Unless Khorne has been able to defend the other throne, or if the losses we inflicted on Karaz-a-Karak are severe enough for him to win in the fortification defense here. We lose basically all of the blue horrors, half the ogres, all the trolls, most of our chaos warriors, half of our chosen knights, half of our chosen warriors, though there weren't many there. Most of our flamers, the trolls, miscellaneous things, and Kitnids, yeah, dead. Marauder horse archers, yeah, pretty much dead. Mechanical men dead. Pink horrors mostly dead. Screamers all dead. Summer lines, thralls, dead. Notably, we can see there's only 9 chaos spawn here. And I think that is a big deal, and we'll circle back around on that thought. On the Karaz-a-Karak side, out of 800 units, he lost 367. So just being actually killed in the fight, we kind of got our asses kicked here, right? He lost none of his mages. 161 of his clan's dwarfs, so a little over half. The true king of Karak Ballin, did die in the fight. 15 hammers, 2 iron breakers, 13 iron drakes. He lost 139 rune guard out of 263 rune guard here. And then a smattering of other troops. And this is really a story of the rune guard and us being able to take them down, and hoping that we would rout more. Now, we're probably going to watch this again, but before we watch this again, let's go see the results. So remember, 816, 367 dead, right? So that should put him at around 440 or so. So he attacks in Gentle Plains. And this is definitely not 440. And this is presumably the response of routing and of commanders being killed, right? Because he did lose Ballin. I think he might have lost, we'll check again, I think he might have lost another commander or two. But a lot of his forces routed, which is not represented in that 367 or so that routed off, right? And potentially some of them just didn't have their commanders to actually move them into this fight. Can Khorne now defend against this? There goes the earthquake. And Khorne, much like us, right, a goodly portion of their forces are basically immune to this. And there's a lot less in the way of global buffs going up. Does it make the difference, is the question. Because all of these fucking chosen warriors need to get out there. Oh no. It looks like most of them are not blessed. Ay. He has some blessers here, but it looks like they're doing skulls for the skull throne. Does that bless? Did he lose a person who... None of his people are blessed. Did he lose whoever was gonna be... Did they get interrupted? Oh no. This might be a bug, but we'll see. The fucking Daemon Princes are in, and they matter. If they can get into these rune anvils... One Daemon Prince dead. One Daemon Prince in with the Rune Lords. Thorgrim. Thorgrim is a problem! Oh, Thorgrim's such a problem! The Chosen being so far behind the Daemon Princes, I think, really screwed this over. And if they didn't get blessed, that's also another massive reason. Now, it's not entirely a reason, because fucking Thorgrim is, with the Axe of Grimnir, basically potentially one-tapping fucking Daemon Princes with his like 3 times damage versus larger beings. And I believe he only counts as a size 4 for this. It's wild. And these throne bearers all have rune hammers. Oh god. Yeah, Thorgrim is insane. Let's speed this up. Because it looks like the answer to the question is that no. Khorne will not be defended. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Only 108 units made it in. So, I do not know the exact amount that remained on the battlefield after our fight. But while we did not succeed in the whole Wailing Winds, Blood Rain, getting them to route into eternity goal, it did succeed somewhat, right? Like, it wasn't a total failure, it just wasn't enough. I was hoping that we would hold long enough, and we holded really long. 68 turns is a long fight, right? We held a really long time, but the dwarves just have such phenomenal morale, especially with their exceedingly good leaders, that it did not matter. In the actual fight, this went way worse for Khorne. The battle that we saw right there, their Daemon Princes did get in with some of the Rune Lords and did actually kill some of them. That is not what happened. They were basically just blasted into non-existence. I'm really interested. Was this just like a misstep, or was there a prophet here that was supposed to like... Skulls for the Skull Throne. There's a whole bunch of skulls for the Skull Throne going on. And these guys... What are they doing? Are they just on wait? I'm really curious here. Does Skull for the Skull Throne do like a... It doesn't... Does it bless? None of his guys are blessed. Where's his god? Where's his god? Hold up. His god was in Gentle Plains. Where's his god? We didn't kill his god. Gifa. Okay, so Gifa is the other fortification. Did he send his god to Gifa, hoping... Did something happen to Khorne's god? Alright, we're just gonna watch this. Okay. So all I can think in my mind is that Khorne expected his god to be in that fight. And so with the... Why is there no like defense here? Oh, there are. There are just very few. Weird. So the assumption is that Khorne expected his god to be there, and thus expected them to all automatically be blessed, right? The whole concept of if your god's there, if your god is present, and I think it has to be in your dominion, then sacreds are blessed in that battle, right? That's still a functionality in Dominion 6. I'm not completely making that up, right? God, I hope I'm not... There's so many rules and mechanics in Dominions that you learn so many things that eventually you start to, like, phantom create things that aren't real. You're like, that's how this works, right? That's how this works, right? Okay, so this is just gonna go very poorly. Gifa is just dead. What happened? What happened to his god? Because that's legitimately what it feels like. It feels like he thought, if we take a look at this, right? Golden Idol 2413, 351 units versus 351.69. Yeah, we popped X number of ghouls, but 241, 3 Daemon Princes. I wonder if he accidentally sent him somewhere else, or if he intentionally sent him somewhere else and then forgot that these guys weren't going to be blessed. I don't know that it would have made the difference, right? It might not have mattered. But the bless on these sacreds, on the Daemon Princes, on the 44 chosen warriors, that might have made the difference. And that is wild. I wonder if Karaz-a-Karak cast something on his god? I've gotta know. Like, if any of the players involved, or any of the players, period, or anybody else who knows, can answer this question. What happened to the god? Was this a mistake? Or was there a trap that happened? A spell that got cast? Did we trigger it through, like, no. It wouldn't have been like some sort of returning or anything like that, right? Yeah, God is here, they're all auto-blessed. This is what they're missing from that fight, right? And primarily, it's this, and the combination of this. So just giving, basically meaning that each of these chosen warriors, right, at that point has 26 HP instead of 16 HP. They regenerate when they hit, right? They have life drain, and they take half damage from basically all of the melee effectiveness of the dwarves, which is a really big deal. That means that at that point, Thorgrim can still one-shot these Daemon Princes, but he has more trouble doing so. Thorgrim's so fucking strong. He's wild. Ah! That's it. The dwarves took Gifa. The dwarves took Gentle Plains. Our gambit failed. That's game. Nothing else matters. We'll watch some other battles. Itza attacks Karaz-a-Karak in this location. There's a shit ton of PD here. Let's see if Itza can take it. And while just kind of like going through some of these other things, we'll just talk hypotheticals, and we'll watch the big battle one more time. I don't think Village mattered in the end. I think ultimately the big issue was that Karaz-a-Karak had all of the same things that we basically had, and their Rune Guard with their Bless were just too tough for us to kill, right? They were just with us basically being all but unblessed units. Even our most powerful units in the concept of like chosen knights just couldn't deal with them. The caveat being, and again, I kind of like mentioned this a couple of times throughout, is that I think I screwed up in this game, period. And this is, I think, a teachable moment for future Tzeentch players out there. Daemon Princes on Tzeentch are really good. And if you go a heavy Bless, much like the Khorne Bless, then I think they can be amazing. And you should absolutely use them. But if you did something more like what I'm doing, which is more of a scales scenario and trying to do more magic heavy, you should still get a couple of Daemon Princes, because again, they're still very useful. But we prioritize Daemon Princes extremely hard, and instead, we should have had more Chaos Spawn. We should have done Spawn Cavalcade more. Because I think if we look back at that battle against the dwarves, and we go take a look at a couple of units that we'll be able to pick out. So this is the army. If we go take a look at a couple of units that we were able to pick out, this guy, for example, right? Greater Chaos Spawn of Tzeentch, Fear 5, or 20 plus magic attacks, right? Those are lessers. We have another one of the big graders. I think there's one more big melee grader that is available. Might have to go look at some of our other locations to see what we've got. Lesser. This is the greater, but he's one of the ranged ones. Yeah, looks like it's like we just didn't get very many graders here. Greater, but also he's one of the ranged ones. Let's go check and see if we have any in capital. We didn't do a summon there. That's fine. You can always refer to my national overview video. But basically the point that I'm trying to get at is that Spawn Cavalcade at level 5 costs 9 gems, right? So you're getting off 4.4 casts of Spawn Cavalcade for every Daemon Prince. I still think a couple of Daemon Princes are valid, but we went through probably 15 plus Daemon Princes in this game. And that, just doing half that number still would have given us a lot of effective utility with the Daemon Princes. And then converting 300, that's more than 30 casts of Spawn Cavalcade. That's basically an army unto itself. But more importantly than just being an additional army, which is effective threat, I think if you do not have a powerful bless, right? If you look at this Chosen Knight, 20 damage Fire Lance, 20 damage Fire Sword, 17 damage Hoof, 15, 22, right? Like, obviously very strong protection being kind of like the big thing there. But we have to actually be right, because the greater demons are all gonna be plastered as the same thing. But if you take a look at this guy, right, he's gonna deal quite a bit more damage, generally speaking, than something like a Chosen Knight or a Chosen Warrior that doesn't have an aggressive bless. And he has fear on top of it. He's not going to be as well defended because of the protection, but, you know, we're putting up protection buffs. He's got way, way more HP, over double the amount of HP. So he turns into, unless you're counting the horse at the same time, which technically you can't, right? But basically you turn into a situation where, like, he's gonna be less defended, right? Less tanky, but he's gonna regenerate a lot, and he's gonna potentially do more damage, and he's gonna spread fear. And that fear specifically, the damage to a lesser extent, but the fear specifically might have really, really mattered in this fight. We're gonna watch through a couple or watch through this one more time, and then this will basically be the end of the episode. So I want to see as these guys go up. All right, these guys have 24 morale right now. They have 24 morale. I guess technically not all of them necessarily have 24 morale. Some of them have more, but it's because they've got a lot of experience. Partially due to the massive amount of heroism that they have. Partially just due to the fact that they're really, really good. And just look at the fucking bless, right? It is wild to me that Karaz-a-Karak was able to afford this bless. Shock 4, I believe. Blur, yes. I don't think Reinvigoration is... I think that's from one of their thrones. Undying 8, Enchanted Blood, Blood Surge, and a lot of heroism. Is intense. I say it's intense. It's actually probably not that crazy. But it's not like a full scales bless. And I don't think it was just them sacking Drain, which is a neat thing that Karaz-a-Karak can do. Right? I really need to like get with Kidzin and see what his actual pretender design is. Maybe, he probably is posting videos. I need to just go check out those videos. But it's just wild to me how powerful the Rune Guard are. This is with the Bless Up, but this isn't with anything else really happening yet, right? Like they have their floating from Featherweight. They've got Twist Fate, apparently that went up really early. But this isn't a bunch of other buffs yet. They haven't buffed protection. They haven't, you know. This is a crazy unit. And there's 260 of them here. So we have Wailing Winds and Blood Rain up from very, very early on. But even the crossbows have 17, 18, 19 morale, right? The Valkyries, 17, 18, 19 morale. Everything is like above 15. The dwarves have such good morale. Basic morale of 16 on this Rune Guard. What's the basic morale on? Basic morale of 13. Their commanders, is it just Thorgrim? It might be Thorgrim and Belegar. Thorgrim Grudgebearer. Leadership 375 plus 3 for 5 squads. Does he have any leadership gear? Does not. Oh. Dragon Crown is an automatic plus 2 inspirational. Jesus, he's automatically a plus 5. Where's Belegar? There he is. Isn't that him? Yeah, there's Belegar. He's not really rocking any. He's got, I'd say that he's also got a plus 5. So I think Thorgrim and Belegar are just leading. Probably that was the issue. Probably the majority of the remaining Rune Guard that were on the battlefield were being led by Belegar, and that's why so few Rune Guard actually made it in. But this battle is basically won off of the back of us not being able to kill the Rune Guard. Because they're just so tanky. 26 protection, 21 magic resistance. Christ. 24, 25, 26 morale, depending on scenarios. And it's just not enough, right? Like, continuously target all units with Frighten 1. Wailing Winds, continuously target all enemies with Fear. Morale check negates. Max minus for 5 morale loss, right? So in theory, this is up to like I suppose it's up to like a 10 morale loss, and it's just not enough, right? Like the entirety of the dwarves losing 10 morale is just like putting them on even footing with my units. And it's wild. And And to make it even crazier, right? Like, we hold for an extremely long time. I honestly am impressed by how long our Chaos Knights do hold. But the Rune Guard are just better. With that bless, I say with that bless. I say without that bless, they're better. I think the Rune Guard are phenomenal sacreds. But with that bless, they're nigh unstoppable. And we just don't get we get a lot of routes. We get a lot of routes. But we just don't get enough. Darkness also, that guy right there that we just saw run off, that was the Darkness caster. If he had not run, we go back to the beginning. This is him, right? To our Ball the Adventurer. This is his Darkness caster. About the shaking. He ran immediately? See, this is what Wailing Winds and Blood Rain is supposed to do. This motherfucker ran automatically. Oh god. This guy just straight up, oh, I cast my spell. Oh, I see blood raining from the sky and hear the wail on the air. Nah, I'm out, dog. I'm fucking out. That is wild to me. But this is really important, right? So, Battlefield Darkness is a big deal. A lot of our units are demons, right? So they do not care. Right? Demons, blind beings, and beings with spirit sight or perfect dark vision are unaffected. So a lot of our demons do not care. But, do these guys care? These guys do care, right? Like, look at our Chosen. They are -6 right now because of darkness. -6 because of darkness. If that darkness had stayed up, this guy, and it does stay up for a while, because this guy can't, like, he can't get out. Where he's slowly, like, pushing through the back. Why is he not just fleeing through people? He can't flee through his own people, apparently. If this guy had not routed off the field, he would have slaughtered me. Right? Because, again, defense skill 8 right now, attack skill 11, etc., etc. As soon as this darkness pops, boom, darkness gone. Attack skill 17, defense skill 20. If darkness had not almost immediately routed from this battlefield, this would have been nowhere near close. And it wasn't really close if we look at the Butcher's Ledger, right? But we did rout a lot. So we routed a lot of units off the battlefield that don't get count into that ledger, but did indeed die because we cut off their retreat paths. If we had more specifically greater chaos spawn, but just chaos spawn in general, I think that would have made the difference. Having additional sources of fear stacked on top of this fight, plus the fact that they're just killier, right? They are just more killy than the majority of the rest of our units. I think that would have made the difference. But even then, even if we brought 100 additional chaos spawn, which I think is kind of like the number that we would have needed for it to start to matter, kind of spread out. Even if we had done that, it might not have won us the fight, but I think it would have caused enough of an issue. Anyways, This was a crazy fight. I'm sad that we lost, obviously, because the game is over, and that means we can't do any more of the things that we were gonna do, any of the plans that we had, etc., etc. But it was still really cool fight. It was fun that everything played out in a specific way that allowed us to even have this opportunity, right? Khorne tried defending, and that defense mattered. The fact that he bolstered the walls here, the fact that he did so much damage in Gifa, meant that we had the extra turn to attempt to actually mount this defense, right? Because if he hadn't bolstered the walls here, right, if they were just the normal 1000, then the dwarves would have popped this instantly and it wouldn't have mattered. So him bolstering the walls here absolutely mattered, and him dealing as much damage as he did to the force in Gifa absolutely mattered. I mean, it didn't matter because the dwarves still won, but it bought us the time to be able to do that. So as far as what we're doing this turn, game's over. We're just attacking in mass into various people. We're just literally, if someone can reach kind of like an enemy province, we're just doing it just for shits and giggles. Attacking into Vongar, we're gonna take these troglodytes out. We're gonna attack Khorne over here from or Old Giant Woods. We're gonna attack into a bunch of Karaz-a-Karak territory. We're attacking into the Wood Elves, because why the fuck not? And we're gonna throw all of our forces back onto Gentle Plains. We have we've got a lot of mages still, but not really a lot of actual units or anything like that. So we'll see. Have like a fun little last fight. We are teleporting this Sorcerer Lord in with a whole bunch more gems. Teleporting, cloud trapezing. I don't expect them to survive because there's just going to be 3 of them teleporting onto the place, but we'll see. We'll see if we can have any fun with it or anything like that. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much the game. This is now officially going to be a dwarf victory. Throne of Life and Throne of the Moon about to be claimed this turn. So turn 69, nice, will be the last turn of the Slowest WAAAGH. And it's been fun. I've really had a lot of fun with this game. Obviously, we made some mistakes, some errors in judgment. Kind of played slow roll against the dwarves too much. But I think at the end of the day, I just didn't expect. It's turn 68, right? But I didn't expect the dwarves. I really want to see the graphs. I didn't expect the dwarves to be so powerful, to have so much after having seen their bless. It was a lot of really good play, right? Taking little slivers of territory, taking little pieces of the Skavens, taking some of Bone Nose tribe, a large portion of Bone Nose tribe, I suppose, right? And then, like, there was a little bit of, like, taking from over here from Nehekara during the whole Itzin and Nagarond assault on Nehekara, I believe. But there were no major wars from the dwarves. The biggest war was kind of like this confrontation in with Bone Nose tribe. Or Bone Nose tribe. It wasn't even really the confrontation with Bone Nose tribe. It was Bretonnia over Bone Nose tribe. And so I made the error in judgment. And I should have corrected this thought process when I saw the graphs like 30 turns ago. Not 30 turns ago, 20 turns ago, right? I assumed that we would outscale. But I think a couple of the unique features of the dwarves it just really makes them incredibly powerful. And the 2 main unique features that I'm talking about are their ability to take drain, a lot of drain, and not give a shit about it, right? Because all of their mages are unhindered. Well, not all of their mages, but a lot of their mages are unhindered researchers, right? So that, on top of the fact that their peeps only cost a quarter upkeep, right? I think allowed them to scale just an absurd amount. I think there have been some tweaks to dwarves since this game came out. Sombre's pretty consistently updating this mod or anything like that, but dwarves might be the strongest nation in Dominion, in the Warhammer mod. That being said, I don't have a good understanding of the vast majority of the nations of the Warhammer mod. It's just, there's some really good things going on with the dwarves that I think are really, really powerful. Anyways, that's it. That's the final battle. Or, not the final battle, but the final battle that mattered. Next turn will be the last turn for Slowest WAAAGH. We'll show off a couple little battles, and then I'll probably talk more about how I felt about the game, how I think we did, and I'll probably lament not spawning more Cavalcade. And that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.